Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk a little bit about COVID and why it's such a contentious issue with many people. I mean, over 18,000 people dying from COVID in Canada. Well, that's a significant number, you would think. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Apparently, the flu kills 6,200 to 8,500 people per year in Canada, yet it has not killed anywhere near that number this year. It's almost impossible to find any flu statistics right now because, COVID, I guess. So this could be one of the things contributing to many people's doubts about the, accuracy of some of these numbers and what the media and the government is actually talking to us and telling us about. It's very strange. So, what if I told you guys that there's a disease running through Canada today that is going to kill more than coronavirus will, even in the next 3 years, based on these current totals that are popping up here right now? What would you say to that? You'd probably take that pretty seriously, right? And it's true. We do have another disease that is killing more people, way more people than COVID is in Canada every year. Although we pay much less attention to it because it doesn't have a good PR campaign like COVID does. Let's face it, COVID is on the news every single day, but this other disease, and I'm talking about heart disease, kills way more people than COVID ever does every year. The media don't spin it every time that they talk to someone. There's many other illnesses like this and diseases that kill far more people. And they also fill the ICUs. See, you hear about this. This is another one of these spins that the media likes to put on it. The ICUs are full. Yes, the ICUs are full all the time, all year long, well before COVID ever got here. Yet they don't advertise that. So it's all about spin and perspective. It's this PR campaign. ICUs are always filled with, transplant patients, people that have heart attacks, all kinds of reasons why people end up in ICU. It would be more applicable if they said how many people exactly were in the hospitals or various different hospitals for COVID, but that's not a number that the media likes to spin because it doesn't put the fear into you. As I said, other diseases like heart disease, which kill far more, and there's far more people in ICU for that, they don't have the great PR campaign, and we're certainly not spending billions of dollars and killing our economy to prevent heart disease, are we? Although I'm sure that if we spent the amount of resources and money on heart disease as we do on COVID, heart disease, we would have saved far more Canadians' lives by doing that than we did from spending all of this money and crippling our economy on spending for COVID. And we lose more than 3 times the people annually from heart disease than we do from COVID. Interesting. So I hope you see what I mean by not having an effective PR campaign. COVID has a great PR campaign, and it is putting the fear of God into many people. And then many others that actually think rationally about some of the information that we're being given. The dangers of COVID are cast into, there's some doubt. And before anyone says that I'm lying about some of my numbers that I'm pulling out of the air here, I'm not pulling them out of the air. I'm getting them from the StatsCan website, the Canadian government website. So the truth is that if we continued as business as usual when this whole COVID crap hit after, the first lockdown and 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right now, if we would have done that, we would have heard probably almost nothing about this virus ongoing. It would have been nothing more than a bad flu, and statistically, that's really pretty much what it is. The media and the government got behind it, ran with it, and then we're hearing about it every day. And, it's growing legs, and this fear is growing in people's minds, and we're constantly bombarding people with these numbers. And most of the time, numbers that don't make any sense. But if you want to know why this is happening and why we're focusing on it so strongly, I mean, you follow the power and the money. We've given unprecedented power to our government, and many of the richest, wealthiest donors to political parties have gained the most from it. You look at the top 15 billionaires in Canada, and their portfolios have grown over 30%. Now, that's a pretty amazing return on investment for COVID because, well, the little guys go under, they go out of business, and the big box stores and the large investors make billions in profits as a result. So, who's benefiting from coronavirus? You decide. And at the same time, our government's, taking the power. They've run a great test to see how we will obey, like wonderful little lapdogs, snitch on our neighbors, and hell, even follow stupid lockdown rules that statistically have been proven not to work. But don't take my word for it. Just have a look for yourself. Yet all the while ensuring that we don't focus on staying healthy. That's never been really focused on by these so-called healthcare professionals that keep us locked down and advise our politicians, apparently. If there was any serious concerns about the virus, those that are trying to keep us on lockdown would be all over the news with stats and numbers, besides how many cases. What the hell does the number of new cases have to do with anything when a large portion of the people don't even know that they have the disease or have coronavirus? It's just a fear tactic that the media uses. If this was so terrible, they'd be able to use some sort of comparisons between COVID and the flu to actually prove their point. But if they do that, they'll have to show what some of those flu stats are and flu deaths are, and that is actually a number that they're not really advertising right now. Because how many of these deaths are potentially from the flu? We don't know, and we will probably never know. The whole focus in the media is showing how dangerous this is. But the truth is, they don't want to actually give us any real stats because the more people would fall out from under their brainwashing spell. I mean, think about it. If the death rate were statistically so bad, as they're trying to make it seem, well, would you really be, would you be taking it more seriously? I think everybody would be taking it more seriously. But the facts are that when you actually look at it, it's not that bad. And the people at risk are not the majority of the population either. Remember what I said about the PR campaign. If we advertised on the news today how many people died from cancer, heart disease, diabetes, or other diseases, and we pumped the fear, people would be all in fear over those diseases. And we might stop smoking and drinking and might take a healthier approach to life. Your health has never been part of anything that's been discussed in the media of late. Again, you don't believe me about the PR campaign? Well, I have proof. The other day, I was out skating with my kids in a public skating area, and I had, of all things, a CBC reporter come to ask me a few questions. Boy, did she pick the wrong person when she started asking me questions. But I did try to maintain a very, very happy, smiley, polite posture while I was talking to her, because I actually wanted to hear what kind of questions she was going to have to ask. I found it interesting. Most of her questions were kind of leading a little bit. She asked me what my thoughts were about letting people outside to gather in this, area, and what were my thoughts on the crowded area. And I pointed out that I had no issues with that, and I also pointed out that I didn't feel that it was very crowded because it actually wasn't all that crowded, despite the fact that it was a beautiful day. And I said that I think everybody should be out and, getting some sunshine and getting some exercise and getting out with their families and socializing. And where she promptly left. She said she had a phone call and said that she'd be right back, but never did come back. I guess I just wasn't giving her the right answer that she wanted. That's what the media is doing today. They're talking to people until they find the people that they actually want, that are giving them the answers that they want, so they can keep putting their spin on this story. And I was not on the news. My interview wasn't used. I wonder why. Because maybe I didn't give her the correct answer. So, at any rate, it's all a PR campaign, and that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later.